Hey guys, it's Sekaar, and today we're going to be going over my Stamina Dragonite build for the Fire Song chapter. Before we get started, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I'd really appreciate it if you could. It would really help me out so much. We just passed 3,200 subs, and I just want to see how far we can go by the end of the year. But guys, this build has been so much fun in PvP. I always struggle to find StamDK builds that I find to be enjoyable, fun, and do damage. And honestly, I feel like this is the one for this patch. I really hope you guys enjoy it, and let's just get on with the video. Alright guys, let's get started. First things first, we're going to look at our character sheet. We are going to be an Imperial on our Dragonite. I really like Imperial for the reduced cost passive on all of our abilities. I think it really helps with the sustain. The sustain that we have on this build is actually really good, and I think that this is one of the main reasons for that, so I definitely recommend using that. If you can't use Imperial, because I know it's the only class that you need to buy extra from the game, I think Orc would be good, or I think even a Wood Elf would be good on this build. I would recommend both of those. We're going to be using 10 points into health for our attributes, and then 54 points into stamina to give us a nice health pool of 31.2k, a stam pool of 25k, and a max magic pool of basically 7k. I think that's some really healthy stats, and I think that those are a really healthy breakdown. I really like it a lot. Our Mundus Stone is going to be the warrior. That way we increase our weapon damage as much as possible. And then our food is going to be Orzoga Smoked Bear Haunch. We're going to be using this to increase our max health as much as possible, then increase our stamina and magic recovery. If you can't afford this, I know it's very expensive. I actually don't really recommend using this anymore because the Jewels of Minstrel food basically does the exact same thing. I think you lose 300 max health, which is really nothing, and then just a few points of stamina and magic recovery. So honestly, I definitely recommend checking out the Jewels of Minstrel food. I think it's probably a better option for your money. And as always, you're going to be Vampire Stage 3. Vampire Stage 3 gives us the Undeath passive, which is basically, in layman's terms, the less health you have, the less damage you take. So that is a great way to stay tanky when you're at that lower health, so you're not really getting executed as much. Let's go on to our gear. Our monster set on this is going to be Bloodspawn. Both our head and shoulders are going to be medium in the Divine's trait. And then what Bloodspawn does is the one piece gives you stamina recovery. The two piece is when you take damage, you have a 6% chance to generate 13 ultimate and increasing your physical and spell resistance by 3,700 for 5 seconds. And honestly, I love it. For me, StamDK and Bloodspawn go hand in hand because your ultimate is based off of your Bloodspawn. Or, no, I'm sorry, your ultimate is also helping your sustain because of your passive in this tree right here. Is it this one? Right here, Battle Roar. When you cast an ultimate ability, you restore 66 health, 50 magicka, and 50 stamina for each point of the ultimate spent. So honestly, you just restore so many resources whenever you ult, and Bloodspawn helps you ult as much as possible. I really like it, and it gives you a lot of tankiness too. So again, helmet and shoulder, both medium divines. And before we even go any farther, all of our body pieces are going to be in the Prismatic Enchant, as you can see. So our chest base is going to be Heavy Dazed Trickery in Reinforced. Trickery gives you max health, max stam, max magic, and then when you deal damage, you gain one of 5 random major buffs for 21 seconds. For 9 seconds, or every 9 seconds, you can get a new buff. It's going to be either Major Expedition, Major Protection, Major Mending, Major Heroism, or Major Vitality. Basically, you're going to be either fast, you're going to get tanky, you're gonna get better heals, or you're gonna get more ultimate. So that is a great way to kind of stay tanky, get your heals up, and honestly, that major heroism, when you can get that going, you are just getting ult so fast between that and Bloodspawn. I really like this. This has been one of the best default DK sets since since as long as I can remember at this point. Our waist piece is going to be a medium Belt of the Trainee in Divines. Our hands are going to be Rallying Cry gloves, light in Divines as well. This is going to be your back bar set. I like Rallying Cry because it gives you crit chance, max magic, another crit chance, and then while Battle Spirit is active, so when you're in Cyrodiil, Imperial City, Battlegrounds, or a duel, you are going to, when you critically heal yourself, you're going to be increasing your weapon and spell damage by 300, and then your critical resistance for 1650. So I really like that. It gives you some damage, gives you some crit reduction. So I really like that. You can really build into divines that way. You do not need to do any impen, because 1650 critical resist is so much that it's unbelievable. So there is literally zero reason to use impen. That is why we're building into divines on all of our traits. Our legs are going to be medium danger trickery in well fitted. Our feet are going to be medium danger trickery in divines. This is our last body piece. As you can see, we're doing divines on most of our pieces except for the heavy piece, which is reinforced, and then our legs, which is going to be well fitted. Our jewelry is going to be Rallying Cry in the Bloodthirsty trait with a weapon damage enchant on it. One of our rings is going to be Rallying Cry with a Bloodthirsty trait on it with another weapon damage enchantment on it. And then finally, our mythic on this build is going to be Markin in the Bloodthirsty trait with a weapon damage glyph. I like Bloodthirsty on my jewelry because it increases your damage as much as possible when your enemies are below 90% health, which is pretty easy to do, let's be honest. So I really like that. And then the reason why I like Markin on this build is because it gives you a free 200 weapon and spell damage and a free 2314 armor. So it gets you a little tanky and it gives you that extra damage for free, basically. I know a lot of people like Sea Serpents right now, but personally I don't. I don't like the snare on it. I hate being slow in this game, and that is just way too much for me. I really don't like it. Our front bar set is going to be Danger Trickery with a Maul in the Sharpen trait with an increased weapon and spell damage enchantment on it. I like the Maul and Sharpen. It's going to increase your pen as much as possible. That way we're not just relying on Corrosive to get that pen up. Then our back bar is going to be Rallying Cry Ice Staff in Defending. The reason why we're using Ice Staff is because the Ice Staff gives you resistances. So between that and then Defending, it really increases your tankiness a lot. Our skills are going to break down like this. I know, guys, we're using dizzying on this build. I personally really like it. If you don't like it, you can use Molten Whip. But personally, I like to be able to CC everybody. I just think that this ability is just... I like it. I understand why people don't like it, but in my opinion, it's reliable. And to be able to get a nice little bit of burst damage on this is really, really, really nice to be able to combo with your other abilities. We're going to be using Flames of Oblivion as well. This is going to give us a nice little bit of pressure on top of our dizzying spam and on top of our noxious spam to get that extra little bit of damage with those Flames of Oblivion shooting out. And then also on top of that, we're going to be getting Major Prophecy and Savagery, increasing our spell and weapon crit by 26-29. That's just a great way to just increase our crit and just also get that extra little bit of base damage, so I like it. We're going to be using Forward Momentum on our front bar as well. This is going to be your source of Major Brutality and also Minor Endurance. So it's going to increase our weapon and spell damage by 20%. And it's going to increase our Stamina Recovery by 15% as well. And then also on top of that, since we're using Forward Momentum, it is going to remove all snares and immobilizations. And then also grant immunity to them for 4 seconds as well. Noxious Breath, this is going to be one of your main sources of damage on this build, but always make sure that your enemy has this on them, because this is going to apply Major Breach to them, which is going to reduce their physical and spell resistance by 6k, so it makes you hit a lot harder after you use this ability. I definitely think that you should probably open up most fights with this ability. And then Executioner, this is going to be your way to secure that kill. Start using this ability when your enemy is about 30% health or so. It's going to really start ticking and really going to be doing a lot more damage the less health they have. Definitely only use this when they're at low health. Don't start spamming this when they're at high health, or you're just going to look stupid. I'm going to be honest. I'm sorry. Anyways, we're going to be using Take Flight on this build as our front bar ultimate. I love Take Flight on StamDK. I think the damage on it is actually crazy. I love it so much. You get to leap for... This is completely unbuffed to 16k, which I think that's a huge number, and it's just going to get higher the more we buff up. We don't have a Rallying proc up. We don't have our Forward Momentum proc up. So that's just going to get even higher. And then our back bar skills are going to be Cinderstorm. This is going to be a nice heal for you as long as you're standing in the area. And you also get Sustain back because when... Here, let me find it real quick. Cinderstorm right here. Mountain's Blessing. When you cast an Earth and Heart ability, aka Cinderstorm right here, you and each of your group gain Minor Brutality for 20 seconds, increasing your weapon damage by 10%. So it's also going to increase your damage just by using that ability. But what's also important is... oh, that wasn't even the right one. Where is this? Right there. Sorry, I was reading the wrong ability. When you cast a non-stamina costing Earth and Heart ability, you restore basically 1,000 stamina. So if you just keep on spamming this, it's basically a free ability to use. It's 355 magic every second, so it's basically free to cast right away. If you just keep on spamming that, you're just gonna get 1,000 stamina every time you hit it. So it's a really easy way to help your stamina sustain if you're really high on magic but low on stamina. So again, if you want to stand in this and if you need a heal, honestly, it's like a 1.5k heal every second. It's really good. And then Elude is going to be great for our Major Evasion and Major Expedition. So Major Evasion is going to reduce our damage taken from area attacks by 20%. So that is massive. And then also on top of that, if we get damaged by a direct AoE attack, we get Major Expedition for 5 seconds, so we're going to be really fast. So I personally love it so much. And then Resolving Vigor, this is going to be your main heal over time. If you combo this and Cinderstorm, you're getting a lot of healing going out at the same time. It's going to be a heal over 5 seconds, and on top of that, after you cast it, you gain Minor Resolve, increasing your physical and spell resistance by 3k for 20 seconds. Coagulant Blood, this is going to be your main burst heal on your build. When you get to low health, I would say at around anywhere between 60% and lower health, then you start using this ability. It is a great way to just shoot your health right back up to full. If you combo this by using Resolving Vigor, Cinderstorm, and then just hitting that, you're just going to be at full health very, very, very often. And then finally, as our last skill on our bar, Volatile Armor. This is going to be your source of Major Resolve, increasing your physical and spell resistance by 6k for 20 seconds. Then you get a nice little bit of a dot on your enemies too. It's not too much, but hey, I'll take any extra damage I can in Cyrodiil. I really like it personally. This is definitely a great source of Major Resolve. It's one of my favorites in the game because it actually does damage back to your enemies as well. So I really like it. And then finally, Corrosive Armor. I say this every time I do a DK build. This is my favorite ultimate in the game, period, end of statement. You basically become insanely tanky. The most amount of damage you can take when you're in Corrosive is 3% of your max health, so that is not much at all. And then on top of that, you're ignoring your enemy's physical and spell resistance, so you're just hitting like an absolute truck when you're in the middle of this. I love it so much. I think it is definitely so amazing on DK, and it really makes it how good it is. And then one thing I didn't mention yet, the potions that we're using on this, I know that they get very, very expensive, but we're using these potions on this build. They're going to be Magic Recovery, Stamina Recovery, and then Minor Heroism. So it's going to restore 1 ultimate every 1.5 seconds. I know that they get insanely expensive, which is why I recommend using the Jewels of Misrule food. If you can use these while also using the Jewels of Misrule, you'll be able to only spend money on this. It gets really bad with how much it costs, but honestly, after using this, I really don't think that I could use anything else. This is phenomenal, and I just think it's so worth it. And for those that I was talking about earlier, this is Jewels of Misrule. Increases your stamina and magic recovery by 357, which that is literally 12 recovery less than Orzorga's. And your max health is going to be increased by 3,900, which if you look at the difference, 3,900, this is 4,300. So that is basically a, what, 400, not even. Yeah, about 400 change. So about of health. So that's really not that much. And then this Jewels of Misrule is also about 25,000 gold less than having Orzorga's. So I definitely recommend using this if you can afford them. It's really not much of a stat change at all. All right, moving on to our champion points. The last thing that we got to do on this build, our blue slottables are going to be Ironclad, Deadly Aim, Mastered Arms, and Focus Mending. Our red slottables are Sustained by Suffering, Survival Instincts, Celerity, and Pain's Refuge. And finally, our green slottables are Rationer, Liquid Efficiency, Master... we don't really care about these. Like, these ones don't matter at all. But what's really important is always have that Breakfall passive in. That is massive in Cyrodiil. Definitely use that. Alright guys, that is the entire build. I really hope that you guys enjoyed. I had a fun time playing this build. It's the first time I've made a StamDK really be fun for me in a long time, so I feel like that is an accomplishment in itself. So guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys. We just passed 3,200 subs on YouTube, and honestly, we're going to push ourselves really hard during December. If we can get to 3,500 subs, so that's 300 subs in the month of December, if we get there, I will do a 5 million gold giveaway on PCNA. So if you guys want to help me out on this, I would appreciate it so much. I don't know if we can get there or not. It's a lot to ask for, but hey, we're going to just try and push ourselves to see how far we go. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys on the next video. Later.